Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Guns and Guitars, the channel that's all about spending less so that you can play more, and that's exactly what we're doing today. I'm very excited. We're going to be doing something that I have been wanting to do for a really long time. We are going to build a budget-friendly, yet reliable and accurate AR-10, or commonly also known as an LR-308. This is technically the DPMS pattern, but most people call these an AR-10. It's just a .308 caliber AR pattern rifle. So if you guys want to see the parts that I use to keep this budget-friendly and reliable, stick around. I'm Dan, this is Guns and Guitars, let's get started. Now, because of YouTube's policies on firearm manufacturing videos, I'm not going to show you a step-by-step tutorial about how you can build this. Some of those videos do exist on YouTube. I don't know how. I've tried to upload one on an AR-15 build that got taken down. So I'm not going to be showing step-by-step how to do this. I'm just sprinkling in some B-roll of me doing it to make this video a little more exciting to watch. All right, let's go ahead and start out with the biggest cost saver of this build, and that is this Bear Creek Arsenal complete AR-10 style upper receiver. This thing is an amazing value for the price. $259 currently. Obviously prices are subject to change without notice, depending on whatever our friend Brandon is currently saying in office. But check out the features on this. Now, this thing is exactly what I was looking for my AR-10 build. I'm not going for a long distance tack driver here. I'm going for like a medium range, heavy hitter, something that can withstand a high rate of fire reliably. So we got a 16-inch heavy barrel with a 1 in 10 twist, just perfect. We've got a full length flat top handguard with M-LOK support. And what makes this such a good value is that at that price point, it includes a .308 bolt carrier group and a charging handle, all for $259 currently. The one thing that I would change about this is actually something that Bear Creek has already changed about this, is that I would have ordered a slick side upper without the dust cover and forward assist. Those are options that I don't really care for on AR style rifles. I think they are archaic and nobody ever uses them. I prefer having a slick side upper receiver. And actually, if you were to order one now, as opposed to a few months ago like I did, that's what you would get, is a slick side upper receiver. So I'm kind of bummed that that's how they're shipping them now. This is what I got. It's what I got. Now let's take a look real quick at this test fire group that they shipped with it. You can see that at its longest range, it is like a 2 MOA accuracy at 100 yards, but you can see how 4 of them are grouped really close together, nearly sub MOA. And I was really impressed with this group for this price. Okay, again, hear me out. I'm not going for a long-range tack driver. It doesn't need to be sub MOA, but because I was impressed for the price, I asked him what ammunition they used to test fire this, and it was during the ammo shortage, and they were just using whatever they had. This specific upper receiver they tested with Silver Bear. Yes, you know that crappy, unreliable, low-cost steel case ammo they shot this grouping with. I was super impressed by that. So I'm really excited to see what it can do with some quality ammo. Probably won't be running any match grade ammo through this thing because, again, that's not what I'm building it for. Now, I would put a link in the description where you can buy this, but it's against YouTube's policies because Bear Creek obviously sells firearms. You can't link to any websites that sell firearms. So I'm just gonna be telling you in general where I got these parts from, but if you want direct links to the exact products that I used for this build, you can go to my Patreon page where I will have direct links posted, and you don't even need to be a Patreon supporter. I'm gonna make it public so that anyone can see it. Now, full disclosure, this rifle build is going to cost about $520, but that's because I paid a little bit more for some sort of unnecessary upgrades. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you, as I review some of these other components, where you can save money so that you can get a complete, reliably functional AR-10 style rifle for less than $500. All right, the next most important part of this build is the lower receiver. This is the serialized component that you have to go through a gun shop and have a background check run in order to do this. Lots of uninformed people on my Guns and Guitars channel think that you can build a rifle without going through a background check, and that is possible if you build your own lower receiver from scratch. But if you are going to buy pre-made parts like this, you still have to go through a background check. I used this Aero Precision M5 lower receiver, and in the past I've done a ton, probably over a dozen AR style builds with Tennessee Arms lower receivers. They've been 100% reliable for me, and they are extremely inexpensive. I went with Aero Precision being my first AR-10. I wanted to make sure I started out with something quality. This set me back, I think, about $115. And then again, if you wanted to save money, you could go with a different brand of lower parts kit. But again, being that this is my first build, I went ahead and bought the matching lower parts kit from Aero Precision, which was actually pretty inexpensive. I think $75, including the fire control group and pistol grip. I believe they do have options to upgrade your pistol grip to the Magpul MOE style. I went with the standard A2 style, and I'll explain why a little bit later. These have always been great for me. I don't mind the grip. Yeah, the Magpul is a little more comfortable, but I don't mind these at all. So one thing that I really appreciate about this Aero Precision lower receiver, I didn't realize this until now that I'm building it, is that instead of having a roll pin right here for the bolt catch, it has a set screw that you operate with an Allen key. That's wonderful because that roll pin step is very, very difficult. So that really simplifies it. I think more lower receiver manufacturers need to start adding that feature. So again, I'm super impressed by this Aero Precision lower receiver. It's definitely worth the little extra money that you will pay. They have a threaded set screw down in here with a little nylon tip that you can use to adjust the tension for your fit of your upper and lower receiver. So right now, these actually mate really well. I have like zero slop in them. There's just a little teeny tiny movement when I really press on it. But if I wanted to take that out entirely, I just gotta tighten up this little set screw right here, and I can put as much or as little tension as I want. Now, obviously, the more tension that you put on, the harder it's gonna be to get your takedown pins out. Yeah, see, that makes it a little harder to get off. So I'm gonna go ahead and back that off maybe a quarter of a turn. Okay, no slop. Yeah, no slop, and the pin still comes out smoothly. What a genius idea. Also, if that's not good enough news for you, again, absolute genius. I don't know why more companies aren't doing this, but the rear takedown pin has a little threaded set screw in it as well. So rather than needing to hold your rear takedown spring and your safety spring in place while you screw on your hand grip, that will hold that in place so you don't have to worry about it. It's absolutely genius. All right, so moving on, and again, why I was okay with the A2 style grip is that I went with an A2 style full-length rifle buttstock. This is a CAC rifle length buttstock with buffer tube and buffer, and I got that at Davidson Defense, I think for about 65 bucks. And again, this is where you could probably save some money. You could probably save about $30 by going with a carbine length adjustable buttstock. The reason why I went with the full length buttstock is because of the heavy barrel on this upper receiver. I think this is gonna balance a little bit better. Plus, in my opinion, rifle length buttstocks, they tend to feel like they cycle a little bit smoother, especially when your upper receiver is overgassed. And I expect in order to get such an inexpensive upper receiver to cycle reliably, they probably overgassed it. That's my suspicion. We'll find out, of course, when we test fire. Actually, after reviewing my test fire footage, I noticed that the ejection patterns on this are perfect. You can see they are ejecting at about the 3 o'clock position, which is actually exactly what you want. If this thing's overgassed, it's only just a teeny tiny bit just to ensure reliability, you know, when the gun gets a little bit dirty. And as you can see here, reliability is obviously not an issue with this mag dump of Tula ammo, steel cased ammo. I'm honestly very, very impressed with this upper receiver for the price. Now we've almost got everything we need for a fully functional rifle, and these are the parts that most people will call a rifle build, but there's a couple more components that we need to actually take it out to the range and fire. The first thing being a magazine. So I started with the cheapest reliable magazine that I could find. It's a ASC steel GI style 20 round magazine. I got this from J&G Sales, and it comes highly recommended from them, and I really appreciate J&G Sales. They also did the transfer on my Aero Precision lower, so appreciate those guys. But I think this steel GI style straight 20 round magazine is just the perfect look to go along with the A2 grip and buttstock. I think it really makes this build look very nice. And of course, just in case this magazine doesn't work out, I got a few other magazines from J&G that I'm gonna try. Got some Magpul P-Mags and stuff. You know, you can't really go wrong with those. So, and of course, the last thing you need in order to be able to shoot this thing accurately is some sights. And I don't really know what I'm gonna do yet optic-wise, but I do have in mind that I want this to kind of be a heavy metal division competition rifle, which means iron sights only. So I'm gonna start out with these. I'm really excited to try them. They're made by Feyachi, and they are just some steel folding backup sights. I've heard really good things about these sights, and especially the best thing probably is the price. I think they come in at about $20 to $25 for a full set of backup iron sights. So I don't know if they'll be good enough for competition, but they should at least be good enough for backup sights if I put an optic on this. All right, now doesn't this thing just look so freaking cool? I mean, the cheapest factory built AR-10 available that I've seen is at least $800. Most of them are north of $1,000. I cannot believe that I was able to build an AR-10 style rifle for $520. Now, a video that I will be making in the future, because I can, according to YouTube policies, is how to make a cheap AR style rifle run like a sewing machine. I've built well over a dozen AR style rifles. I've gotten really good at making cheap components run really well. And because that falls under the umbrella of maintenance and not manufacturing, because we're not going to be modifying any parts, we're just going to be maintaining it in a way such that it will work more reliably, I can definitely do that video. And in that video, I'm going to be using this rifle and these components to show you exactly what to do to get it to run reliably. So if you want to see what I did to this thing to make it run perfect from day one without having any break-in period, then definitely make sure you're subscribed so you can watch that next video, and we'll get out and test fire this thing to prove it as well. I'm Dan, this is Guns and Guitars. I'll see you in that next video.